Hello everyone, welcome for this new video that has been requested by some viewers. Today I'm going to share with you some information and some tips regarding how to level your healer. But disclaimer, this is not a healing guide. I'm currently working on a healing guide, but it's a lot of work and it will not be ready quite soon. Let me some time. Second, this is not a power leveling guide. This is not the way I play and this is not the kind of gameplay I promote. If you want to power level, I recommend you to check deltiasgaming.com. You have plenty of video and guides that will fit better your personality and your game style. So, let's get started. First, the basic. A healer is a role that you play with other players. It's pointless to be a healer if you want to play solo. Pointless and painful, believe me. If you want to play a healer, that means that you want to play with other players and keep them alive. You want to do group content, may it be while leveling or in endgame. A healer is a magicka based character. More magicka you have, better it is. Magicka is your primary resource. It's the resource you will use to cast your spells. More magicka you have, more spells you can cast. But it also increases your spell power and the potency of your heal and your spell to damage. This is why healer and damage dealer as caster work well together. And this is why also that the Elder Scrolls Online is one of the only MMO where it's not totally awful to level a healer. I will explain this later. As a healer is a support character and that the life of your teammate will be quite literally under your responsibility, it's really not the time to be selfish. You will need to optimize your character a little bit, and for that you need to pay attention to the race you choose. I strongly recommend you to be a Breton. Breton have the best passive for a healer character. More magicka, less cost of your spells. It's really great. If you don't want to be a Breton, Altmer is the best second choice. It also have more magicka and some magicka regeneration in combat, but the passive of the Altmer are more directed for a caster. The third good choice is Dunmer. We also have some magicka bonuses. But it's really not ideal, and then again it's better and beneficiate better a caster character, in particular fire damage. If you want to be healing on the battlefield in Cyrodiil, Imperial might be a good choice. Imperial do not have any passive related to magicka or magicka regeneration, but it gives very strong bonuses in stamina and in health, which you will need if you want to do PvP. And you can balance this weakness by your gear and your attribute and focus entirely in magicka for those. So if you want to PvP, Imperial is a very good choice, probably the best. Templar is of course the obvious choice when you think about a healer, because it has a full skill line entirely dedicated to heal, the restoration skill line. It has one of the most powerful burst heal, which costs a lot of magicka but it's very life-saving sometimes, and excellent ultimate. It's the only class that have a healing ultimate. But that doesn't mean that Templar is the only choice and that if you want to be a healer you cannot be anything else but a Templar. A Sorcerer, Dragonknight and Nightblade can also be great healer. Do not forget that you're not limited to your class skill line or your weapon skill line. You also have some guild skill line that can be very interesting. For instance, you have a spell, the Ring of Protection in the Fighter Guild, which is a quite good spell to use as a healer. You also have Necrotic Orbs that can be morphed into healing orbs in the Undaunted skill line. If you are battling in Cyrodiil, you can also unlock the support skill line, which will give you some heals that can be also used outside Cyrodiil. So it's totally possible to create a good character, a good healing character with another class than Templar. So it's up to you to choose and to try. The weapon of choice of a healer is obviously the Restoration Staff. Even if you're a Templar, you will not escape it. Not only the Restoration Staff will give you very interesting and powerful heals, but it has also very interesting passive. The first passive of the Restoration Staff allows you to heal a little bit when you land a heavy attack, and you will need to use your heavy attack constantly to regenerate your magicka. As secondary weapon, I really recommend a Destruction Staff, but it's not the only possibilities. It's probably the best because it allows you to recharge your magicka as well. If you are using any other weapon, you will recharge stamina while you are heavy attacking, and so you will not beneficiate directly your magicka regeneration, and your gear and your builds will probably not beneficiate this weapon either, because every weapon works with stamina and weapon damage instead of spell damage and magicka. So when you're a healer and when you want to DPS, it's more interesting to use staffs or your spells from your class. So even if you decide to use two swords or whatever, or a bow, you will have to focus on doing damage with spells and not with your weapon abilities. So keep that in mind when you choose your secondary weapon, the one you will use while leveling. As healer and caster, the armor you want to wear is obviously light armor. The light armor skill line offers you very interesting passive. Less magicka cost for your spell, more magicka regeneration, spell resistance, spell crit, everything is very interesting, and you will want to have those passive as soon as you can afford them. Most of people are wearing 7 pieces of light armor. But if you want, once you have leveled a little bit further and you have unlocked the Undaunted skill line, you may want to have 1 piece of medium armor and 1 piece of heavy armor to beneficiate from one interesting passive from the Undaunted skill line. This passive gives you 1% magicka, stamina and health regeneration per type of armor you're wearing. So if you're wearing 3 types of armor, you will have 3% regeneration for those 3 attributes. But this is not something you should worry about, and as I say, most healer on caster will prefer to have 7 pieces of light armor. If you are a crafter, you may want to craft yourself your own gear instead of wearing what you find during your adventures. I personally find very fun, very pleasant and very practical to be able to choose with precision what I'm wearing. I enjoy to choose my own set of gear with the thread I want and the look I want. What I was doing when I was leveling my character was to craft myself a set of gear of blue quality that I was keeping for 10 level. But I was leveling quite slow, so I was using it for a long time, and I was doing a lot of group content as well. So it was beneficiating me, and it was worth the investment in crafting material. If you're a fast leveler, I suggest you to only have green quality gear. It will be good enough for you to do every content the game has to offer during your leveling. The first set item you will find interesting for a crafter or a caster is the Seducer set and the Toric Pact set that you will find in second zone around level 20. That's the first set you may want to have. But if you have guildies of friends, you can ask them to create you a set of gear with different sets that you will find in other areas beyond your level. Personally, I enjoy to have 5 pieces of the Manus Gift and 3 pieces of the Willow Pass. That's 8 pieces of set item. Do not forget that your weapon can be crafted as well. And now it's finally time to enter in the core of this guide, how to level your healer. As we have just seen before, may it be your build, your weapon or your gear, all of this will beneficiate as much your healing capabilities than your casting capabilities. And that's why in the Elder Scrolls Online it is not difficult and not painful to level a healer. No matter the way you level, may it be alone or with friends, you need spell damaging abilities. The content is not hard enough to entirely focus on healing your friends while they are doing the damage for you, so you need spell damage abilities. So my recommendation to level your character. The first skill point that you will place when you do the tutorial, or if you skip it, the first point that you place will be in one of your class skill line. Each class have one skill line that is more beneficial for healing and that you will need later on. For the Dragonknight is the Earthen Hearts that give good buff for your friends, good armor spells and good crown control abilities that will be useful for when you're leveling. The Sorcerer skill line is the Dark Magic. It has one of the best spells to regain Magicka, which is Dark Exchange, the last spell of the skill line, which allows you to gain Magicka and health in exchange of stamina, and it makes the whole strength of the Sorcerer healer. You also have some good crown control abilities that will help you leveling. For the Nightblade is the siphoning skill line that allows you to regain life and give back life to your teammate while doing damage. It's very good as well. And for the Templar, it doesn't matter so much if you take Hydric Spears or Dance Rats, both of them are useful as a Templar caster. So, your first skill point is from your skill line, your class skill line. The second point you will place will be from the Restoration Staff. So try to find as soon as possible a Restoration Staff. It doesn't matter how bad the staff itself is. What's important is that you unlock the first skill point, which is Grand Heal. And you place Grand Heal in your action bar, and after that you even can unequip the Restoration Staff, it doesn't matter. The third skill point you need to do is to place it in Destructive Touch. Find the Destruction Staff and place Destructive Touch in your abilities bar. So, your 3 first skill points, your class skill point, Grand Heal, Destructive Touch, and you have equipped the Destruction Staff. So of course you cannot use Grand Heal, but every time you will gain experience, every time you give back quests, every time you open a chest, every time you explore something, you will gain experience and you will level in the same time your class skill line, your Destruction Staff and your Restoration Staff. And that's the way to level your Restoration Staff even without using it, and to be able to unlock new spells for when you will do your first dungeon around level 12, level 15. I recommend you to do group content as soon as you can. It's the best way for you to test your abilities and the way you can play your healer. Of course, for that you equip your Restoration Staff and not your Destruction Staff. So that's important, because in the first dungeon you will do, you will need to focus on healing your teammates. Once you reach level 15, you can have 2 weapons and you can swap between them. So you will have 2 skill bar to use. So there you can have 1 Restoration Staff and 1 Destruction Staff, and swap between those two when you want to heal or when you want to damage. And voila, that's all for today. I hope this little healing leveling guide was helpful and interesting for you. If you have any question, do not hesitate to ask. I will be happy to provide you more information as soon as possible. And if you have requests for future guide, do not hesitate to ask me as well. I'm always happy to provide you the content that you wish me to do. Also stay tuned, because hopefully very soon I will be publishing a very detailed guide about healing, where I share all my experience and all my tips and tricks to become a good healer. See you next time, guys. Take care and have a great day. Bye bye.